The Lithium Mod. It's an expansion mod, and as it turns out, be quite fun actually for Phase 4 and Phase 5. This one is a story about the Lithium Mod in Phase 4, so it was an additional requirement to finish Phase 4. Originally, you may recall one of the last videos, I was confronted already with a milestone for the Lithium Mod asking me for a packaged petroleum ether. I had no idea why and what for. So yeah, I just utilized the turbo fuel production that I already had, hijacked there some turbo fuel and some plastic to get it done. And with that, I had my production line where the plastic boxes are coming in, getting filled, sent into the refinery for packaged petroleum ether. I collected the stuff, just in case, and of course I punched in a dimensional depot just to be sure that I have it on my hand, so that when I'm back at my hub, it was easy to grab the stuff and load it into the hub to fulfill the milestone. See, it's all there. Easy peasy. And in my startup factory, which I primarily used to have building material on my hand, there on the top right you can see the delivery that I have to do. And let's see what milestone we need for that. And there's an advanced lithium milestone. That's the one that gives me the versatile accumulator. That's the stuff on the top right corner which I have to deliver. And it needs batteries. I've never done batteries before, so no need for that. Ceramics and lightweight modular frames. These two are definitely new. And the other stuff is something I had done before. But yeah, batteries. I never built batteries before because I really can't see any reason in the vanilla game to be bothered with batteries. But now it is mandatory for me to build it. So first time ever I do batteries. Well, I decided a good place to do so is far away from my big beautiful belt, you know, that long road from the east to the west, which I use with tractors to transport everything. Instead I went for the area where I have done the modular reactor before, because there are all the resources needed. So I thought. And placed a nice little platform next to it for the battery factory. Doesn't need to be that big, so yeah, I think the size is quite moderate. And to have a minimum impact on the environment, I use the area which is without vegetation anyway. Now all that's needed is to bring in the necessary resources. For the battery production, I basically just need this. Now that's the stuff you need to the batteries. Except it needs a bit more aluminium and so on. Okay. So I need to bring in some coal. I grab the coal from the nearby red forest area. Since I do everything with conveyor, it's just endlessly be looped, zigzagging down. Not really brilliantly looking, but hey, it works. So a long conveyor belt. And that turned out in the further development in 1,000 areas to become quite a story in this playthrough, long conveyor belts. The coal is coming in nicely. Also required are crystals. So I tapped into 2 out of the 3 crystal mining areas nearby. I hijacked a bauxite coming into the modular reactor, grabbing the overflow there, and I did exactly the same with the sulfur, sending sulfur in the direction of my battery production. So with that, I was able now to run the battery production very nicely. You see here everything's running. And in that context I have to say that I ended up with way more aluminium ingots than I needed. So I use an awesome sink and sink them all. So at the moment here you see aluminium ingots just being wasted. It's just a byproduct. I need only a few, which then help me to build the batteries. And for the batteries, of course, I had already a dimensional depot in place. I have it at hand. So now I need to see, how do I get my ceramics? Ceramics, ceramics want insulated lithium and aluminium ingots. Okay, the second aluminium ingots is what we already have. Of course, I have an overproduction of aluminium ingots for my batteries. I can use that. And for the insulated lithium, I need a new kind of miner, which is provided by the by the mod. And as it turns out, this miner behaves slightly different than the other miners which are in the game. Let's have a look. There are two lithium ore mines nearby in the crater, and I'm placing here one of the miners of the lithium mod. And you can see that looks normal, but that is different. There's an input. And as it turns out, it needs packaged petroleum ether to be used together with a mined lithium ore to become insulated lithium. And we learned already before, the packaged petroleum ether needs turbo fuel and plastic bottles. Though, yeah, that's quite a thing. So I need turbo fuel. If I want to do the delivery for the lithium mod for phase 4, I need turbo fuel. Okay, a little bit working. I fine-tuned my aluminium production to kick out a bit more. Power slugs are your friends. And I forward now all the aluminium ingots in the direction of the crater, where on the hilly side next to the lithium ore, I am setting up a platform on which I want to build for the lithium mod to get the delivery done for phase 4. And in the background is coming up already an area in the middle of the water where I'm hijacking more or less all available oil sources of the swamp to get some turbo fuel. And I decided I go for the full swing of turbo fuel, not just a little bit of turbo fuel as required for the lithium mod. Since I'm in the oil here anyway and have to do turbo fuel, let's do it properly. And with that, it is becoming a little bit bigger. And the interesting part here for me was that I really did run a little bit in trouble with the compacted coal. Because to get the turbo fuel production run, I need so much compacted coal that the intake of sulfur and coal was above the level of throughput that could be provided by the conveyor belt at this stage. So I ended up with a setup where I had multiple inputs into the line of the constructors to create myself a little bit of the compacted coal, and here quite a bit of buffers. And in the foreground you can see already the plastic production. Keep in mind I need plastic for the packaged petroleum ether. And the overflow, of course, is synced for ensuring that nothing stops. Compacted coal is again buffered quite a bit. You see it in the center here. Two big industrial storages, just to ensure there's an even flow. And I took already the luxury to burn some of the turbo fuel directly with oil generators. But then I noticed, no, I need quite a few of those if I really want to burn it all. So he kicked in the new thing with a new mod. The mod delivered some new content for which I had to try different setups. And that became a new challenge in my Satisfactory playthrough, which did lead to quite a bit of extra fun. So I really enjoyed how this evolved. Thing is, I already unlocked now the recipe in the mem for rocket fuel, and I learned in the playthrough before that rocket fuel is really the way to go for a lot of energy very efficiently. So I did set up the sulfur acid there, and this area should be the one which shall deliver then everything for the lithium mod. Yeah, there are the refineries which then suck in the turbo fuel and need the plastic boxes to provide the packaged petroleum ether. Further resources have been required. You see, I tapped into the lake to get some water done. I grabbed some iron ore, and in the center you see the big line. That is a line for nitrogen gas. Yeah, of course, for the rocket fuel I need some acid. And the nitrogen gas comes, yeah, pipes going down below the building of the battery factory, coming up on the right, and where the platform was simply too big. And I could simply frack it out of the ground here. Very handy. Quite nearby. That is quite a bit of nitrogen gas. Very nice. Okay, back to the lithium mod. The miner finally had been up and running. I got my insulated lithium out of the miner. That's working. And to do so, I had to set up, of course, quite a few stations here for my packaged petroleum ether. Yeah, again, that is for the rocket fuel. Good stuff. And because I did it on top of the hill to ensure it flows down, which is an advantage with fluids. And yeah, here the petroleum ether is coming in, goes into the refineries. And the refineries then deliver me the packaged petroleum ether. Yeah, sorry, it should be the boxes coming into the refineries. Get filled with turbo fuel, becoming petroleum ether, linked into the miner, and the miner then spits out the insulated lithium. All cool, easy peasy. Now let's talk about the byproduct. I did a little bit more of rocket fuel, and turned out I needed more overclocked oil generators. 195 more needed. So definitely need a bit more space for that. And so I decided, yeah, why bother with all of that? I use the space where I produce a turbo fuel. Yeah, you see on the right hand there are already quite a few oil generators running with the rocket fuel. But I did set up a nice buffer, one level higher, so I can use the fall from there into the area where I wanted more oil generators consuming that rocket fuel. And I'll bring it with a few pipes to ensure that it flows evenly. The pipes are connected on the left side so that we have a real network of rocket fuel coming in, and this one level was not enough. I needed a second level on top, which I had to fine-tune a little bit. So I could have gone for a maximum of energy just by burning the crap out of it. But that is not the way to go. I want an even flow. I want no ups and downs in the flow. I want it evenly. And That's why about, well, let's say 1/3 of the oil generators in the background of the upper level have only one power slug in it, to ensure that I'm not burning too much, that there's always enough fuel in the pipelines to ensure there's no downtime at any oil generator. And with that, it burns very smoothly, very evenly. I really like it. I'm very happy about the result. I mean, that was not purposeful. It was really just a byproduct of the lithium mod forcing me to go for turbo fuel. And before, so after I finished the module reactor, I had about 77,000 megawatt. Yeah, about 77,000 megawatt. And now, after I've done all the oil generators with the rocket fuel, the number increased slightly. Have a look. Now I'm at 272. Yeah, after some fine-tuning, I ended up even with a few more megawatts. So that is quite an increase. That is really impressive. Keep in mind, for a playthrough, you actually need something like 42,000 megawatts. So I finished my first playthrough with 42 megawatts. 42,000 megawatts, and that was absolutely sufficient because I relinked everything. And now I just got as a byproduct with rocket fuel about 198,000 megawatts. Just as a byproduct of my build for the lithium mod, since I tapped into the turbo fuel. That's pretty cool. With that, it was easy to build all the stuff necessary for ceramics and lightweight modular frames. Resources got linked in, as I showed you before. I had enough aluminium, so that's all cool. So I went back for my startup factory to the hub, and it's time to upload the stuff for the milestone. So ceramics to be brought in, lightweight modular frame. There we go. Yep. Push it in, and then it's time for Ada to tell us a story.
Milestone reached. All previous researches have brought you up to this point to provide access to advanced parts which are produced using lithium, including lithium batteries, an efficient fuel for drones. Speaking of accumulation, Space Elevator Part Number L1, Versatile Accumulator, is now available for production as a part of Program AL12. Fun fact, experimental version of Project Assembly is estimated to serve 25% more time, meaning that 25% more kitties and puppies will be 25% happier by the time you accomplish your purpose. Stay even more efficient than other pioneers together with Program AL12. Let alternate recipes you have been receiving from MAM assist in this task. Consider all time you are saving with them your mandatory vacation period.
Thank you, Ada. Yeah, the new stuff is in the MAM. Okay, we can go from there. So I can continue the story. I need later on to get stuff done for the next big project in the lithium mod. But here, most of the stuff's done. You can see here again what was needed to get ceramics done and the lightweight modular frames. To have then, with the unlock milestone, the ability to produce the versatile accumulators as needed for fulfilling the phase 4 requirement. You see here the output in a dimensional depot. So it's not too big of an effort. It is okay, but it's quite a bit of stuff to be linked together. And while you're doing so, you may then see that you link in another one and another one and another one. So yeah, my conveyor belt pattern became a bit packed. Not very beautiful, but hey, it works. You know, I used really everything, going above, going below. So conveyor belts are everywhere. Looks alright. Yeah, but I had still some time left over. So I played with batteries because I wanted to test the solar element of the refined power mod. Problem is the vanilla batteries are only spitting out energy when there is a demand or beyond the standard production. And that's not really helping with solar. What is needed is a different kind of battery for this mod. A battery that takes in the daylight solar energy and then spits it out evenly over day and night into the main grid. As long as that's not there, the whole solar thing of the refined power mod is quite useless. Yeah, you see here again the overview of the final building for the lithium mod. It's not too much, and I kind of liked working this time by not looking for even platforms, but having built platforms in the way however I needed my machines, so a bit larger, a bit smaller in some areas. With that I got this uneven look, which I quite like. It looks even better than the usually just square surfaces. Okay, it is square too, but you know what I mean. It's not just one even wall. It's a bit of unevenness in it, which looks, I think actually looks nicer. And that is what I needed for the lithium mod, what you see here. There's the add-on for the energy production, doing turbo fuel and rocket fuel, and getting all the energy in the background, the little experiment with the solar. I'm quite happy with how now the crater area looks. That's alright to me. And again, I did the roofs with the upside down mods, having there the surfaces and the decoration mod to put on some plants on the roofs to have it matching to the environment. With that, time to deliver for phase 4. Now the delivery is done for phase 4 regards the versatile accumulator. I delivered the stuff that's needed for the mod. Have fun, see you next time. This was a joyride. I highly recommend the Lithium mod to you. Cheerio!